what up? It's your boy. Uh, First video on the channel. Funny enough, since the whole rebrand. Um, if you want me to go into detail, I will eventually. Probably on stream, because I do plan on streaming as well today. Twitch.tv/EternalAsakura. Check it out. But this video is one I've actually wanted to do for a little bit. It's an idea I had recently, where I forget which channel it was, but basically the idea is I show off like stuff I bought in the month of December, whether that be movies, video games, manga, shoes, and I definitely bought a lot of stuff. Starting off with probably the easiest thing, that Michael Jordan poster back there. I bought that. For those that don't know, I'm a little into basketball. I don't follow it religiously, but I do follow it a little. I do play some 2K with friends every so often. Favorite team, the Celtics. Fun fact. But come on, you cannot have a basketball poster without the GOAT on there. What else? Honestly, not much in terms of like movies and stuff, but I did pick up Dragon Ball Super Superhero. This movie is actually really good. Not because it's a Dragon Ball movie, but because it's a Gohan movie. As counterintuitive as that sounds, I am of the opinion that Toriyama's idea of making Gohan the main character, genius, big brain, would have loved it. I'm also of the minor opinion that Gohan's character arc, fantastic. I would not change a single thing. Like, obviously, Super Saiyan 2 Teen Gohan was fantastic. I loved him just absolutely nay-naying on Cell. But him becoming a family man, studying, trying to, take care of his family, I love that. I love a good family dynamic. I picked up a bookmark. I didn't have one. So a lot of what I would do is, when I was reading manga, instead of like getting something to like put between the pages so I wouldn't forget where I am, I would oftentimes just read the whole thing. Which now I have nothing to read, so that's cool. So yeah, I picked that up at my local bookstore. That was cool. Manga. I picked up a lot actually, which is surprising, because for like almost the whole year I haven't bought a single volume. But to start off, we have volumes 4, volume 5, and volume 6 of My Dress Up Darling. If you don't know, the premise of My Dress Up Darling basically is a story about this guy that makes dolls. I forget the exact name. It's hang on, I'm gonna quickly look up. Kokeshi dolls. Basically, it's about this guy that makes Kokeshi dolls. One of his classmates, Marin Kitagawa, she finds him making stuff for dolls, and she eventually coaxes him into helping her make a cosplay. And the story goes from there. It's a really good dynamic between the two characters. You have the really outgoing, eccentric personality, and the shut-in, like, neat-looking personality. Those two, honestly, I first heard about My Dress Up Darling. I watched the first episode. I looked at these two characters separately, and I thought, there's no way this would work in a story, but it actually flows perfectly. As far as the volume covers go, out of these three, I think my favorite is volume 5. However, I do not think it is the best volume that volume cover that I have seen. I think that still goes to volume 1 or even volume 2. But yeah, that's Dress Up Darling by one Shinichi Fukuda. Next one I was actually really excited for, because if you can't tell, I'm a pretty big Shaman King guy. And so I picked up the first volume of Shaman King Flowers. And basically the story behind this is Yo and Anna's son Hana. Basically, it picks up like a couple of years after the shaman fight with like Hao and stuff, and pretty much Hana is obviously learning to be a shaman kind of reluctantly. He doesn't think too highly of Yo. It's not because like he hates him, more just he feels like he lives in his dad's shadow. And I can kind of see that. He's even still with Amidamaru. And so a lot of the story is Hana trying to be his own character and trying to figure out like what he can do to be a better shaman, or even just a better character than Yo. And for the most part, it definitely works, because on a couple of the first pages, when he gets into a fight, like against pretty much this Ryu fanboy, funny enough named Ryuji, he looks almost like a villain. It's kind of funny. But Shaman King Flowers, I read the whole thing in one sitting. It was a lot of fun. I actually really enjoyed it. Did I enjoy it more than Shaman King though? That's a little hard to say. I think original Shaman King had the better characters. You know, you had Yo, you had Horohoro, you had Joko, you had Ren, you had Anna, you had Hao. You had like even the spirit allies that they had. I think those were obviously most of the spirit allies are the same. You know, Hana has Amidamaru, Ren's son has Bason, Ryu still kicking it with whatever that spirit ally's name is. I honestly didn't pay too much attention. I didn't like it that much. But if there's any series I recommend out of what you see today, Shaman King and Shaman King Flowers, definitely up there. Next pickup, actually one I wanted to pick up for a little bit, but I honestly, for the life of me, I just never got to it. Like, the money was never really there, and you know, it just never happened until recently. The first box set for Bleach. This covers, I think, up to the start of Soul Society, right? I actually don't remember if this covers any of Soul Society, I'll be honest. But you know, but I wanted to get into Bleach for the longest time. I really enjoy the characters. No, I'm not talking about Yoruichi. I haven't seen anything of Yoruichi yet, but from the characters I do remember from watching a little bit of the anime, you know, Ichigo, Rukia, or Hime, even Chad or Chaz, whatever that guy's name was, those are some of my favorites. And Tite Kubo, the author of Bleach, there are some illustrations outside of like the manga where he puts the characters in like actual like fashion outfits, and Tite Kubo even said in an interview that if writing Bleach didn't work out, he was going to like be a fashion designer, and you can kind of tell that he wanted to, or even still wants to, because like some of the outfits he draws are fantastic. But yeah, that's Bleach. I didn't bring all the volumes out because one, I would have to read through them, and two, there's like 21 volumes. I'm gonna put this out. These next two volumes, there's only two of them, but they're a series that I fell in love with, and I'm kicking myself that I didn't buy more as it came out, because now it's up to like 25 volumes, and I couldn't find volume 9 or 10, or even anything before volume 21. But here we have volume 7 and volume 8 of Komi Can't Communicate. Now, essentially the premise of Komi Can't Communicate is this girl that has major social anxiety, and everyone thinks, oh yeah, she's this regal, elegant goddess we must praise constantly, when realistically she just doesn't like, it's not even that she doesn't like talking to people, it's more just she can't talk to people. And one of our other main characters, Tardno, he helps Komi kind of like try and get over this barrier. And obviously it doesn't go straight into, oh, just try saying this or just try saying that. No, he just gets her to like write stuff down, and you know, they start talking to each other. And I love the dynamic of those two. So it's some of the best stuff I've read. Keep in mind, before this point, I think the last like rom-com, like slice of life thing I read was, what did I read before this? It would have been actually, oh, dude, that's actually tough. I think the closest thing I read to Komi Can't Communicate would be A Silent Voice. So I didn't read it, I watched it. But I think Komi Can't Communicate does the whole character doesn't speak thing a lot better. Not because the writing is better, more just the side characters help carry like the mood of the series a lot better. And obviously A Silent Voice is meant to be lighthearted or uplifting, but I'm definitely not used to being a sad sack, so Komi Can't Communicate, comparative to A Silent Voice, is a lot better. Well, not a lot better of an experience, but it made me smile and laugh a lot more. I actually did want to pick up Watch the Rock, but that wouldn't have been here in time. Shoes. Honestly, I didn't go crazy with shoes this December. I'm kind of wishing I did, because there were a couple of pairs of like Vans and Converses that I wanted to pick up. But here we have the Vans Old School in the Bossa Nova colorway. I have wanted a pair of red Vans for a while. I wanted to get like just the pure red skate high. I even tried looking for a couple of like my sneakerheads out there, or even just Vans fans from back in the day. They used to have these colorways called Tibetan Red and Rumba Red, which I did want to pick up, but the problem with that was they were never in stock. So I had to, I don't want to say I had to settle for this, but you know, until they bring this out in a high top, I had to settle. The closest thing I had to this currently was the it's another Vans shoe, the Monogram Port Royal. And while I love that shoe, I think it works with a lot of outfits. I didn't like the pattern on the side, because you can kind of see where like the Vans stripe is. You can kind of see some separation with the stitching, like at the back here, and even at the front here where the toe box separates the heel of the shoe. There's a pattern there that I do not like at all. And when I bought them, because I bought them on sale and they looked like, well, kind of like this. I got them, I saw that they had the pattern and I didn't like it. It was also just a really gross looking red. These are a lot more vibrant, and I like them a lot more. This next shoe, hindsight, is kind of 2020 on it. Not to say I regret buying it, but it's more just I'm struggling to find things I can put with it. Because when I bought it, it reminded me of the Jordan 1 Chicago. Well, not like the look of the shoe, more just the color blocking of it. Obviously, it's not one-to-one. I wish it was. I wish there was a way I could do that myself, but there's not. But here we have the Adidas Hoop 3, I think it's called. I have no way of checking because I threw out the box with the receipt, but it is the Adidas Hoops. I just don't know if it's the Hoop 3s. I think it's a good shoe. Like, especially for like running around and playing basketball in. But as far as what I mostly wear shoes for, like fashion, as far as that goes, I think these are I don't want to say they're a flop because they are a nice shoe. I just struggle to find stuff to put it with. Like, apart from the fact that I wish it was more color at the front, the brown sole at the bottom, I am honestly not a big fan of. I wish it was either black or red. And at first I thought, oh, they can't put red there, it would be too much red. But then I remember, which side is it on? I don't want to say I regret buying the shoe again, but this is kind of the biggest bra moment of my sneaker collection. What else did I pick up? Oh yeah, I managed to get this for a steal. The steelbook for Pokemon Violet. And it actually came with the game. Now, if you don't know much about me, I know some people came from Twitch to YouTube or even watched a bunch of my old VODs on YouTube. I love Pokemon. I think that is one of the best series, period. But Pokemon Violet, I think, is honestly booty cheeks. Like, obviously, it's a Nintendo Switch game in 2022. I'm not expecting, like, the highest of quality. But let's compare this to something that also came out in 2022. Let me find it. Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. This game looked fantastic. It performed perfectly. I ran into 0 issues with this game. Same with Kirby and the Forgotten Land and even the remake of Metroid Prime. I ran into 0 issues with any of those. But for some reason, the Pokemon Company, they have flopped recently a lot. And this isn't like a recent thing. This has been a problem, in my opinion, since Sun and Moon. Sun and Moon, I honestly thought was so boring. Like, so brain-numbingly defiant of what makes a Pokemon game so fantastic. Sword and Shield, at first, I loved it. And then I went back and I played, I think it was Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I went back, I loved those a lot more. And then I went straight back to Sword and Shield and I thought, huh, this is kind of ass. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of this. Then the Diamond and Pearl remix came out, and a problem I'm noticing a lot more with Pokemon games on Switch, when they come out, at first I really enjoy them, like at the point where I beat them in like 2 days and I hammer out all the side content, and I'm left with like nothing to do. And then I go back to it, or I try to go back to it, like starting the game, and I don't know what it is, but like early game Pokemon, like going back to it, I'm not a big fan. I don't know what happened with Pokemon Violet, but I was just bored the whole way through. Like, I enjoy the Paldea region. Do not get me wrong, I enjoy it. I'm not the biggest fan of the Pokemon in the region, like the new stuff. I think some of the evolutions they added were fantastic. A couple of them really needed, like Primeape and I think it was Bisharp. They both got new evolutions, and those are fantastic. They're amongst my favorites. Obviously not top 10, but no, they are up there. Yeah, I also picked up Sonic Superstars on Switch. This isn't a good Sonic game, which sucks because it has some of the most content we've been offered in a classic Sonic game. The Lego skins, kind of dog water. The deluxe edition, I would be hard pressed to call that a deluxe edition. It's more just, here's some PNGs and a skin for Sonic, which they actually recently brought out a Christmas skin for Sonic, and as much as I want to say that it's good, I wish the other characters got a little more love, because for those that don't know, all the other characters got Lego skins, like there's Lego Tails, Lego Knuckles, Lego Amy, but that's really about it as far as cosmetics for those characters go. Even the new character, Trip, has like 0 cosmetics, which is honestly kind of depressing. Also picked up Super Mario Wonder. This is another game that came out in 2023 that runs better than anything the Pokemon Company has put out since 2018. Have I beaten it? Absolutely not. I'm not even past the first world. Reason being, this motherfucker came out. And man, I don't want to say it, but I honestly did not enjoy this as much as I wanted to. This was hyped up to the moon and back, and I just did not like it. I have no idea why. Well, okay. It's not to say that I didn't like it, it's more just, it feels like more of what the first game was. Like, obviously there's a lot more character interaction and stuff, but you know, there's a little more of New York to go through. By that I mean like 1 or maybe 2 new areas. They bring back old characters, which, not gonna lie, kind of a fumble. But overall the game is fantastic. I definitely preferred playing it over Sonic Superstars and Mario Wonder. But I think that is about everything that I picked up. There is some stuff that I did pick up, but I'm not gonna bring them out. Oh, actually, there's this one thing here. For the sake of the video and anyone watching this, obviously this isn't real, it's wooden, the whole thing. But for all my Persona fans out there, this is Haru's axe from Persona 5. There's actually a really neat story behind this one. So, a little bit ago, one of my friends, that I'm not going to name drop, he hits me up one day and he randomly asked me the question of, hey, do you want to buy an axe? And I'm thinking, I don't really need an axe. definitely don't have the financial fidelity for an axe. Then he told me it was Haru's from Persona 5, and I immediately asked the question, oh, how much is it? And I thought this was like a $200 thing. And the price he told me was genuinely a shock. He said it was $90, and obviously that's a really good price, especially for like a cosplay ready Haru axe. So I said, you know what? Sure. He bought it. He held onto it for me. I went to Sydney to pick it up, and he said, hey, the guy that runs the store that I bought this from, he has some new stuff in stock. So we go in, we have a look. The owner, for those that actually want to try going, the store is called Geeks vs Nerds. It's in a little place called Campbelltown Mall. If any of my Australian viewers are in Campbelltown or anywhere near, definitely check it out. The owner is super cool. He'll if you help him support his business, he will give back. Obviously not with like a rewards program, but obviously my friend and his other friend, they've been helping support this business for a while. They buy a lot of stuff from his store. And when I went there and I picked up some stuff, I actually got a 10% discount. Obviously, I'm not saying that everyone is going to get that, or that if I go back, I'm not going to get that again. But, you know, considering what I bought, that is actually really good. As far as what I bought goes, I bought Virgil's Yamato from Devil May Cry 5, which that is a very lovely weapon. I love it. I picked up 2 quintessential quintuplet figures, Miku and Yotsuba. They're wearing like these really nice regal black dresses, and I want to pick up the rest of them. I'm missing Itsuki, Nino, and Ichika. As much as I don't want to pick up Ichika, I kind of want to complete the collection. What else did I get from George? I also got a little figure of Tao Ren from Shaman King, which when I went there, I honestly didn't think to see anything Shaman King. So I kind of had the thought of, okay, if I don't walk out with anything else, I have to at least leave with this. And I kind of wanted to ask if you had any other Shaman King figures, or if you could order any others in, because eventually, if a room tour comes to the channel, I have this thing where I have 3 of my favorite sneaker brands boxes on the wall, and the way they're positioned, they can fit a figure perfectly. So the way I want to have it set up is, I want to get my favorite Shaman King characters, which Ren, Yo, either Horo or Hao, and I want to get those up there, which, you know, obviously life is a priority, so I'm not like feverishly looking for these 2 Shaman King figures or 3, but you know, if I get them, I get them. What else? I think thank you for watching. For those that did, remember twitch.tv/EternalAsakura. I'm working on a schedule. I don't know how well I'm going to follow it, but I'm definitely going to try my best. If you want to keep up with like stuff I post or stuff that I like on Twitter, I'll link that in the description too. I'll never guess what it's called. Anything else I can tag? No. Again, thank you for tuning in, and remember, nothing happens till you swing the bat. Later.